Hey, what's up, everybody? Don Snow here, and I love Emperor of the Fading Suns. And here in the year of our Pan Creator 2025, we have a new enhanced version. I am super excited for it. There has been a whole bunch of updates to the game, not least of which are improvements to the map editor, the randomization function, and the modding tools. The devs have given us players a lot of cool stuff to play with, and what I'm going to show you today is how we can use those to first of all create some maps and then basically pull out the units and then repopulate the galaxy with randomized stacks on different difficulty levels, which will allow us to quickly and easily create tons of cool content to keep exploring and conquering long after we've mastered the historical galaxy. So yeah, let's start by looking at what we have that's cool about the new random galaxy. So first off, what is really sweet is on rebel-controlled planets, planets that have palaces. In the palace, there will be generated randomly scepters, which is really cool. That's, of course, the voting units. We need those to get elected the regent to become the emperor. So that's really neat because right there, compared to the historical galaxy, now there's a whole bunch more votes out there on the rebel planets. It gives us some really good incentive to go exploring those rebel planets. So mechanically for the game, that's really cool. And then, flavor-wise, that's sweet. That rebel scum has not only seized the capital, but they've taken the vote. They are, attempting to silence the voice of the people. Democracy is at stake. Sounds like a good excuse to me. Very legitimate reason to soften them up with some orbital bombardment and send in the shock troops. Anyway, so the second thing I want to draw your attention to is the difficulty level. When we play a historical galaxy, that difficulty level is going to affect things like the forces in ruins and your starting traits, how prescription happy the church is, but it's not going to affect, the map itself, like your opposing forces. So that's forces outside of the Empire. I'm talking about your rebels, your symbiote forces, and the Vow. Like, nothing changes on the map. They get the same starting forces every time when you're playing historical. But when we're doing random, they get generated based on the difficulty level that we have selected. It's an average of all the selected houses. Just so you know. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Like right away, let's generate a galaxy, and I will show you kind of what we're looking at. What we got to start with. Please wait while I create the galaxy. The map maker in the machine. So, you can probably see off the bat here, one kind of downside to generating a random game is we got to go through all this startup stuff before even seeing our galaxy. So, let's see what we got. Dokie. That's not too bad. As you can see with the randomization, like we do get a few like little aesthetic things here and there. This is not bad. Some stuff, like actually this gates, it's kind of wonky. Like that's not great. I don't like how that line is going through Midian there. As far as these aesthetic things, like I don't know, for me, a good proper game of Emperor of the Fading Suns, I'm going to be looking at the star map a lot. So, if like Shaprut and Rampart, the names are like overlapping and now it looks like Fart Butt. Like, I can't. That simply, I will not have that. So, anyway, so and that's not even going to what might be more important, and probably is too, is just in terms of gameplay. Because I just selected Li Han, so here we are. But we didn't really get to look at our starting position. So like this is fine and dandy. But it might not be, exactly what we want. Like, for instance, maybe I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh shoot, actually I was thinking about playing as House Ducados, and it would really nice. I want to have another noble house right next door so I can just bully them. right out of the gate. So, I would like to see this map before I commit to playing a game. There's good reasons for wanting to use the map editor. So with that established, let's take a look at what I was talking about. First of all, with these rebel forces and the scepters. Oh yeah, so the game doesn't have like a like a god mode or developer whatever. So we'll use a cheat. If you don't know this one, enter your Byzantium screen. We're going to type in HDI view. Hit enter, and there we go. So let's take a look at Pyre here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so no scepter on that planet. Let's just keep it looking. I want to find one. Matic, what do you have for us? No scepter. Okay. Pentateuch. Good old Pentateuch. Nothing beats Pentateuch. All right, there we go. So we have a scepter here. That's cool. We can see a noble. Let's just have a look at some of these other rebel forces. So nothing too crazy. We got some fanatics and a spy here. Some tanks. Okay, we got some pestulator artillery. So it causes tactical plague. This is something cool for the new 2025. If you haven't seen these tool tip kind of pop-ups, I really like that. That's neat. So this is actually a bit of a problem if I was going to be playing this. And if you're used to like the historical map, you're going to see right away. This is a much more challenging planet to conquer than you're going to get in that historical game, and also like much more rewarding because we've got this scepter here to take. So that is pretty cool. I like that a lot. So yeah, that's really sweet. And yeah, as I mentioned, another thing we wanted to let's just look at real quick is the symbiote forces. Now you can see we've got the fleets, of course. These are not going to change. When the galaxy is being generated, the randomization is happening on that planet level and the arrangement of these stars. Now we can go further if you want. Wow, I say that not today. I wouldn't even know where to point you exactly, but like these kind of things can be changed. But you can know for now, these symbiote fleets are going to be the same. What we're looking for is just what's going to be in the hives, and kind of we can see here, it's not that strong for wowzers. That's a big old schwackaroons. Hey, they got generated scientists. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know why he's here, but this unit actually, I don't think it has a function currently. It's in the game. I like that they turned it on. It's a nice little bit of flavor. In maybe a future video, I'm going to look at modding some units, and we can see some cool stuff to do with that. But for now, for our purposes, we're just looking here. For whatever reason, on beginner, you'll notice the symbiote get a lot of they get more space units, but not a lot of ground forces. So they're going to be a pain in the ass up here in the stars, but they're not going to overrun anything too quickly. So yeah, that's basically all we really do. We can have a quick look at the vow. As I mentioned, that's going to be a standard fleet, and nothing too particularly interesting per se. Again, they actually is kind of the same thing. Is a lot more space units compared to ground forces. So yeah, the other thing I guess I should mention is the house worlds, Imperial worlds like Holy Terra, Stigmata, Byzantium, the League. All of those are going to be the same as your historical galaxy. There's kind of a default loadout that these planets get every time. So you can remember that's here on Istakir, that one noble. But yeah, so I mean, this planet is, if you've seen it, you're gonna know what this look like. I don't need to show you those, but just know these planets, we're not right now, we're not changing, and so we're not worried about those. What I want to show you then next is, let's have a look at ridiculous. Okay, we're just gonna crank this bad boy up. Boom. These again, it averages out. You can actually go into the AFS.ini and change the values of those. We're not going to fuss with that. Right now, the base values they give us is fine. We're going to try creating a ridiculous galaxy and have a quick look to compare what kind of force. So again, you see here, this is like if I was generating, trying to find a galaxy I liked, even doing, after a couple, you're going to be like, this is annoying. I don't want to do this anymore. So you can see why I don't really want to start my game this way, and I probably use the map editor. But yeah, we don't really care about that for now. That's what we got. I am going to enter my HDI view cheat again. Yeah, I know that. Thanks. Duh. Okay, and let's take a look. Yeah, Sutek. What do we got? Okay, all right. So so there you go. You can see. All right. So we have. This is some good planetary defense here. Shock legions. Yeah, some very high armor. You got the fanatics. This is gonna be. Oh yeah. Okay, so you can see this is a significantly more challenging. They got a dreadnought and a cruiser to launch at you, and that's something that I mentioned. Like, we're not changing the fleets right now. That is possible, but not what we're doing. But that's the thing is with this generation on Ridiculous, the rebels have been generated some powerful ships. So obviously, that's going to make for a much different game than our beginner settings, and certainly much different than historical. And again, okay, the symbiote here now. So yeah, we're talking ridiculous difficulty. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, look at this. If if you're new to Emperor of the Fading Suns, I definitely recommend like play the historical galaxy, have fun with it, learn the game. Definitely stick around to see some of the cool stuff we can do. But anyway, if for everyone who is familiar with the game, you can see like this is you're talking about pretty much your end game fights if the symbiote are going to be throwing planets worth of crap like that at you. So yeah, that is a significant. Let's check out the Vow too, because I said all the opposing forces, rebels, symbiote, Vow. That's another thing. If you what you say, hey, the Vow opposing force. I mean, they just hang out and sell some maps. Wow, I don't ruin the surprise, but we do care about these forces. And yeah, like look at this. We got a bunch of towers to deal with. These are basically these are the best units in the game. As you can see, they've got a little bit of everything in terms of attacks, and looking at stats, that's not what we're doing today, but beefcake. So yeah, Vow, very difficult. All right, so now that we've kind of had a look, and man, look at this here. We don't want this. We have established we got a little need to poke around with the map editor. So why don't we do that now? Let's get out of here. If you haven't used the map editor before, it's cool and pretty easy to use. Just navigate wherever Steam or GOG has installed Emperor of the Fading Suns 2. This is going to be a good folder. We like it. We're going to use it. I have a little shortcut for myself, but I am waist deep. I'm neck deep in the game right now. So anyway, map editor is what we're looking for. If you wanted to, you could work with either of those maps that we generated, the one at Ridiculous or Beginner. They get saved automatically into this folder here. Doesn't really matter, for our example purposes. I'm just gonna, let's say we even just started here. Whatever, who cares? There we go. Random galaxy. Okay, so let's say for whatever reason I like this galaxy. I want to play this galaxy. But okay, this is a good example of the kind of stuff that it annoys the crap out of me. If you wanted to, how we would edit this? It's really simple, really. It's this is an older program, so there's no undo. I'd save often. If you're not familiar, or familiar with like 90s software, these days, the user interfaces try to interpret or anticipate how humans are going to use them. Not so with these programs, but it is simple. Just take your time with it, save often. So yeah, easy peasy. We can edit some XY coordinates. I don't actually want to change this. Let's see. Oh, Criticorum, right. You know what? Let's budge that actually over a little bit and budge it up a tick. Beep. Okay, so there you go. It's moved. Now, whether or not that's particularly good, you can be the judge of that. So this is just an example. I'm not going to make you watch me do this, nor do I think you would. You'd just be like, all right, Don, if that is your real name. So anyway, just by punching in different values, we can customize a map. We can edit this one and, just clean it up a little bit. As I said, I mean, we're going to be looking at this a long time. Another thing you can do for yourself that will, definitely change how the map plays out. We can add some gate lines. That's nice and simple. Just grab our line, click and click, easy peasy. I'm right-clicking around to move around the map, and then left-clicking will do any interactions. Because to delete gates, it's just, as you see here, this delete off. We turn it on and repeat the process. I want to delete Demoli to Daishan. Boom, boom, done. And, stuff like this. Like, you know what? Where is this even going? Let's go. Icon. Icon. Holy Terra. Oh, geez, are they not even... No, that's Holy Terra. Oh, yeah, okay. That's Holy Terra to Byzantium. Now, we actually want that. So, I'd probably, in this case... Yeah, this isn't even a good, necessarily, example galaxy to start with. But, it doesn't really matter. Change the color of the plant. There you go. Okay, well, I moved icon, put a gate line through median, whatever. Let's just say we clean this up. I'm going to jump ahead. I cleaned up a galaxy, and it looks like this. Nothing special to it, really. I just think it's going to be a fun one. I like when we sometimes you'll see it's just Holy Terra and Byzantium, and it'll be kind of isolated. But I like here we have the connection to the symbiote. So that's going to be a fun game to play. And so when this was generated, when we hit create random, much like in the game, it's just using whatever difficulty there is. But when we start the game, it's at the default is beginner. So how are we going to change that? Because this has been generated with beginner, and we can see, you can look at just the thing. We've got add units. You can just start putting stuff in, but where is that coming from? Because let's a better example. You can see even if you into a stack, we can look at this and random. We can generate more units. Okay, but what is it doing? Where is it getting those values from? Well, that is where we are going to get into the modding. This is actually like the easiest mod ever. It's really cool. And like I said, we're staying in the shallow end, but it's awesome. So, kind of an obligatory back up your files. Everything is in this DAT folder. If, you can reinstall the game if you have any issues. But yeah, just, back your files up. We're not doing anything crazy. Now, within this, of course, there is just a ton of stuff. Like, these are all, these DAT files are all text files you can open up and just start fiddling with to your heart's content. I'm not going to go that deep. Really, what we're doing right now is I just want to work on those difficulty levels of the randomized units, and how we're going to do that is with this guy here, playertable.dat. Just open it up. All right, so we can see there's a bunch of stuff we can do with this file, but what we're interested in right here at the top, difficulty level. You can see all our different factions here. They have the non-player factions. We don't need to worry about them. They are not considered in part of this difficulty level. Now, these values, we have a lot of true-false values. These zeros here are actually corresponding to beginner difficulty, and if we give it a value of 4, that is going to be ridiculous level difficulty. And then, so, 1, 2, 3 levels between. Let's change this. We're going to, as you saw before, I crank this up. We're not going halfway here. So yeah, I'm going to set all of the house difficulty at 4. Save that. Easy peasy, right? Yeah. So let's go back into the map editor. We have to make sure that we've closed out of the map editor because it needs to restart to bring in the new value. Alrighty, let us load up our edited galaxy. Yeah, so like I said, I made this with the default generation, so it's going to be at beginner. Maybe I want to change that. I changed my mind, or maybe we played this galaxy. It was the best dang game we've ever played in our life, but we're like, you know what? Give me more. I want more difficulty. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, you saw we set everything up to ridiculous. Now, to add the units, one thing we want to start with, let's just grab ourselves a planet. Pandemonium sounds like a fine place to start. So we have a couple hives here. Let's just, we were looking, but we'll confirm kind of what we got for our, these beginner units, beginner generation units. Now, before we add units, we need to take them out, kind of talking about that interface thing. If the game doesn't care, we're trying to swap units. You tell it to hey, add units, it'll just add units. It'll just add more. It doesn't know, so we need to, very simple, delete units. When we bring this up here, delete all. Exactly what it sounds like. Self-explanatory, really. We want to delete the symbiote. We're not going to use the INI. You can do some cool stuff with that file, like sex and loyalty. And it says in there, like, there is ways that'll affect the generation stuff. That's out of the purview of this video. I don't know how to use it yet, but yeah, we'll figure some stuff out and report back to you in the future. So let's do it. Gives a little warning. That's nice. So there we go. And yeah, we can see it's deleted. We clicked on it instead of seeing the stack of units. It brought up the ownership, which is the typical map editor behavior for an empty city. So cool. This planet is now wiped out of symbiote units. And of course, if there was, other rebel units or something, we could, use the remove all or whatever. But for now, that's good. We're going to do add units, as you might guess. So this is where, as we put this in, adding owner, symbiote, it is now going to grab that ridiculous value for us. So let's do it. Yeah, so there we go. We can see that's much more ridiculous. Yeah, that's much better. I like this here. 2 wetware for your troubles. Keep the change. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we got more butchers. So yeah, it's pretty apparent this is going to be a much more challenging planet, and it's just that easy. So in the planet there, we just did that for the one planet. Obviously, there's more. If we're gonna do that one by one, that's gonna take a while, but fortunately, we can do this galaxy wide. Same thing, nice and easy. We're gonna delete all the symbiote units. Pew! Of course, that deleted the ones that we just generated on Pandemonium, but that's fine because sort of a little edit there. So yeah, we are going to now add all these symbiote units back. That selected, add owner. We're not going to add any space units. And also you have the option to only if owner controls palace. Just worth pointing out there. So yes, that is actually what we want to do. And yeah, let's just have a quick look here. Beep. Beep, beep. Yeah, cool. All right, and yeah, so there you could just stop there. So if you wanted, you're like, man, I want to play a game where the rebel forces are going to be at beginner. Humanity is where it's on a weak phase. It's we're downtrodden comparatively speaking to the really strong symbiote forces. So that might be a game that you want to play. Play as Hawkwood and try to and that actually be cool because you got Hawkwood here and Stigmata here, so you could really set yourself up. If you wanted this to be a game where you're focused on fighting the symbiote while maybe trying to hold these rambunctious noble houses at bay. So yeah, that's one thing you can do. But what we'll do is we will finish just we'll finish editing this whole map so that it's all the units are at ridiculous. So let's get rid of the vow. Yes. And let's just add them right back. Let's just go have a quick look at them because yeah, they do get some good units now. And again, I'd like to just point out these space stacks have not changed. So that's just something to keep in mind. You could start doing some stuff with it. I'm not going to do that right now. We're sticking with one thing. I'm very distractible, as you might be able to tell watching this video. So I got to focus, man. So yeah. Anyway, here we go. As you can see, quite a bit more challenging vow forces there. And then finally, let's do the rebels now. You're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, Dawn. We're gonna delete all of the rebels. And we're going to add them all back. What about the house worlds? That's a fine question. Because, yeah, these house worlds, remember I say they come with your basic loadout, but now we've told the map to remove them and add them back. And, okay, well, that's not outrageous. Like a bunch of fanatics for ridiculous. I thought it would be worse. What else do we got here? Yeah, that's definitely like stronger than you would typically get on a homeworld. Let's have a look at Delphi. What do we got going? Okay, see, this is a bit more what I was looking for because so it's dropped a dervish onto a homeworld. You're not equipped. You're just not equipped to handle that off the bat. So that is something we can easily work around. You might be able to do that through use of the dat files. I don't know, but there's a very simple workaround. And also shows you something else you can do with the map editor. Now, the worlds themselves are saved as terrain files, which is .ter, which are, as you'd expect, just the terrain without buildings and units and all that. But our scenarios are going to have all that. And for the homeworld, everything is in, that we can just open up. So we can go into our Galaxy folder, which contains all the maps that came with the game, and load the bad boy back up. Boom. There you go. Back to normal. And so what we'll do is just quickly repeat that process for our other noble worlds. Whoops. Dark Ages. Okay, Aragon, we can just quickly confirm. Yeah, that looks cool. Severus, which I was actually surprised that one stack was not. Which of these other ones, though? Well, War Beast, yeah, don't really want. There you go. Yeah, dervishes. So, whatever. But yeah, real easy. We're just opening that scenario file that came with the game to set these back to the way that they start. And really then, honestly, that's going to be all there is to it. Often when we might talk about modding, Emperor of the Fading Suns, definitely modding's been a big part of it over the years. That's kind of what's kept it alive, right? And, you may have heard of some of the big ones, some of the cool ones like Emperor Wars and Nova and Hyperion. Like, they're these big, really awesome, neat mods. And that's sweet. But what I'm really interested in is right now is just using these tools that the developers have given us to make a really cool game for ourselves. Because yeah, that's all there is to it. What I've done here, taken that map that was on a beginner difficulty, and I now have units on random or ridiculous. I have ridiculous units randomly generated throughout this galaxy, and as I showed you, we can kind of do them for different factions because we could save this now. Let's just save this as test. Ridiculous. I have so many test files of all formats, all of them useless. Yes, I'm sure. But yeah, so, we could do that, and we can also go back into our player table here, and maybe I will set, everything to 2. Because maybe I want to go through and maybe I want to weaken some of those rebel worlds. Like maybe I want to go through and some of the rebel worlds that like aren't united and don't have a palace. Maybe I want to make those weaker forces, just kind of representing, that they're not as, they don't have their shit together like the other forces. Like there's all sorts of things we can do with just this simple tool. It's very easy to use. Don't worry about it. The only thing is the game, it wants you to make sure you've got the same number of spaces that you did when you started. So don't forget to do that. Just watch your spaces. Anyway, and yeah, and when you're done, put it back. It doesn't, not going to be a big deal if you don't, but just so you know where you are when starting off, or reload that saved, because yeah, you don't really want to kind of forget. And yeah. Keep good habits. Keep better habits than I do when modifying your files, people. Anyway, I hope that was useful. I don't know if it was, but honestly, I think it's going to be a great start to make all sorts of cool maps for yourself. If you got any questions, come check out the Discord. Lots of friendly and much smarter people than I who've worked on this game very hard and for a very long time, and I'm sure I'd be happy to help out and share their knowledge with you. So hey, thanks for being here. Don Snaw out. I don't have an exit phrase. I'll work on one. Yeah. This is Don Snaw. Keep it sleazy. No. All right. Thanks. Bye.